And so having mentors, listening to them, importantly, knowing, when to listen. And that's probably one of the hardest things, right? Because you are getting different perspectives and different advice from different people. And that's part of what makes entrepreneurship hard is you ultimately have to make the decision about which direction to go, which advice to take, right? But certainly, being resourceful and utilizing the knowledge that other people have based on their experience is really important. I know Payne and I can sit up here and ask questions and talk all day, but I'm wondering, it might be time now to see if you all in the audience or anybody online has some questions for our panelists.
Yes. My biggest takeaway so far, guys, I'm talking about purpose. So what help for entrepreneurs in the midst of, because I'm going through some similar things, feeling lonely, because it seems like as soon as you get to where all those cheerleaders and team members you pass, but I'm just the type of entrepreneur I could hear self-love. I don't necessarily have a team.
Can you repeat the question so that we can make sure that our online viewers can?
I believe what he's asking is what coping mechanisms do we use while we're going along our journey of building our business, especially when you get to that point where you're starting to succeed beyond the people that you started with, the peers that you started with. And that's a very good question, because I dealt with and deal with that a lot, and you constantly have to find new peers. You constantly have to surround yourself with, because in my cohort there are 21 of us. I don't have the number of how many people are still running their businesses now, but sometimes on those journeys, some of us move a little faster than others. Some of us stick with it longer, and you constantly have to, in expanding. And I'm not the networking person. I'm very introverted. No one believes that, but I am. But you constantly have to, in building your network, it should always be identifying a few people who are growing at the speed that you are, and continuously developing new relationships, so that you always have some people around you who can relate to what you're going through. Because it does change, and it's just part of it.
I think for me, it's like, I think it's why I always put myself in accelerated programs, is to find common businesses that can help give me advice and scale me and become lifelong friends. But another part of that is like your personal life as well. Like for me, like it's very fast as he talks, and you want to fix that problem right away. If something didn't work, you want to go and do it. But like intentionally building time for you to stop and like have a personal life, right? You have a relationship, focus on that, right? Focus on your family, like that stuff, because those are going to be the cheerleaders that'll always be there, whether you surpass some business or not, right? So, and you don't want to lose that relationship just because you're so focused on the business and growing the business, that once you've grown, now all these lifelong cheerleaders that you had already on grip just might not be there. So for me, it was, for me, my partner, my girlfriend, she intentionally tells me like, hey, it's been like 3 hours, close your laptop, let's go do something. Like, hey, I'm off Sunday, like, let's go to brunch. And like for me, my mind's always working. My mind, like, watch a movie, I want to put my laptop up and I want to make content, right? Like I want to do that. And she lets me, but then sometimes, like when it gets overboard, it's like, like stop. Like that, you need people like that. Whether it's a friend, brother, sister, mom relationship, you need someone in your personal life that can say, hey, stop. Regardless of whether they understand what you're doing or not, stop and be a person.
I'll try to keep this short and sweet. I think I understand your question a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to answer that. But I think it's important to, first of all, with regards to like other people that maybe were once part of the journey and cheerleading, but maybe not so much so more, aren't necessarily giving you a positive energy exchange. It's okay to like let that go and find other people that are genuine and have good intentions for you and like your best interest in mind. And I think when you find those people, really cherish that, because it's kind of rare. Whether it's a mentor, like you'd be surprised there are mentors out there that are also kind of like not so just generous as MK, for instance. You know what I'm saying? Like actually just care about you, like you want to see you succeed. No, they at the end of the day, they want a little percentage of this, you know. So like when you find people that are genuinely have good intentions, I think cherish that and then enjoy the process because like there'll be good times and bad times, but if you like really love the game, I think you'll make it out the other, or not necessarily make it the other, but you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it. There's a higher chance that you go through it. And if you can find people around you that make that process enjoyable, like for instance, my brother, my co-founder, we have a lot of fun together in the office. Even though we're working really hard, we also enjoy that process. So I think
I would say don't let the frustration and the anxiety deteriorate your relationships. So even though people might not understand that what you're trying to do, like it's still okay to be friends with them. You don't have to cut them off. As long as you're not disrespecting, that's something. But also doing what you like. I like watching movies. I don't like watching TV shows. I like watching movies. So like a couple times a week, I know I'm gonna cut on Netflix and find something good on the watch, just so I can relax for a couple hours and do something like exercise and like going out and like I'm 3 mile walk this day. So just so I can do some air without frustrating myself. Listen to music like something. Just being your genuine self all the time makes it better when you know you're working for a purpose too, because like you're doing it your way. You know what I mean? So that's also important. And then get happy hour club. That's important. Like plenty of multi-billionaire CEOs that club, but I say really, I'm just saying like it's okay to have that balance. Travel, all that's important too. But keep the main thing to and prioritize is also really important so you don't get confused on if you made 5,000 revenue, but then I spent 3,000 on the trip because you said don't get it like that and call it that. And then put the money where it needs to go. So prioritize and maintain your relationship with people.
Yeah, no, I think one thing a lot out of it because this is one thing I've learned recently. I've been recently started in Europe. People are just happy with my life. And then Europeans make no excuse about taking vacation. Like they take three-week vacation. In America, if somebody gets a 2 vacation, they'll ask, "Are you okay?" They went for some treatment, what's going on. So, yeah, like, I'll just tell you, like, from my own personal experience, and see, continuously work with founders. No business, no founder ever lost a business, or a business didn't suffer because the founder took a few days of vacation for the weekend. But founders have lost a lot. Because they were working. That's the truth. That's the fact. So take care of yourself for
What inspired your businesses and what steps did you take? The whole step-by-step process to like immediate steps that you take to help you turn your career.
That's really good. That's an excellent question because what sets the founder different that someone decides to do that? I want to answer this. Yeah, please go ahead.
I'm not even going to answer using my own experience, but I have a friend.
But do repeat the question.
Yeah, can you repeat the question?
Yeah,
to make sure?
So the question was, what inspired the business, right? And then what's the next step after you have an idea, right, for a business? What's the next step to actually make it come a reality, right? So I'm not going to use my experience because I think my experience is not the most common experience of how I came up with the idea, how it came to be. But on my way over here, while I was driving here, I had a friend call me, like one of my best friends in the world. He lives in Chicago, and he's a consultant right now. So he lives in the corporate world, but he wants to leave. And so a big thing for him was he had a problem, right? When he moved from Atlanta to Chicago, he realized not only him, but a lot of other young people our age are having difficulty when they move to a new city, specifically meeting like-minded people quickly in like a natural way, right? So he identified a problem that he experienced first. So I think that is the start of a very good idea. Is if you know someone with a problem or you experience a problem, right? And then the thing that I think is the key step is once you identify a problem, he was calling me because he wants to quit his job and start a business to solve it. I'm like, all right, calm down. You know what I'm saying? First of all, you know. And then, but I think I was like, why don't you do this, right? On the weekend, like, I won't dive into the specifics of his idea. Like, test your idea out fast. Like what? And I wish I did this sooner and earlier. Like, what is the? They say MVP, like minimum viable product, but like for real, what is the cheapest and quickest way you could get this thing going now? And you'd be surprised how much you can get done in a couple of weekends. And maybe even make some sales. Like for my friend in Chicago, he wants like, right? Like I'm like, you have this thesis that new people in new cities want to meet each other and they're willing to pay for it if there's some sort of really good matching program. Like you don't know if that's true or not, right? So you have this idea, test it out. Like create these experiments. Think like a scientist. I think in the early days, like okay, I have hypothesis 1, 2, 3. And if the hypothesis is true, that's really, really good. I can make money solving this problem. If the hypothesis is false, it's going to be really bad, and I probably need to find a new idea or solve a new problem. And then I'm like, this weekend, what's the quickest way? Can you stand up a website really quickly, like even a Google form, and then send it out to a bunch of your friends? Tell them to send it out to their friends and say, would you pay $10 to come to this? Whatever it may be, right? But I think finding a really quick way to test hypotheses and then think like a scientist is a really good way and framework to move from problem to idea to like seeing if you have something or not without wasting a bunch of time and money. So, and I feel strongly about this because I've made that mistake a bunch of times. And I wish like I had quickly tested the hypothesis. I hope that.
I think like one big thing is like don't underestimate what you like the experience that you have. So like for instance, I did an interview with Main Street at the beginning, and I said something like I'm just a teacher, and Denise and everyone correct me, like don't ever just say you're just a teacher, right? Because the entire business that I'm doing is built off of that experience as a teacher, right? So your idea is going to come from your personal lived experience because that's the only way you see a problem. Don't ever underestimate like how knowledgeable you are about that problem. And then once you see that you are knowledgeable about a problem, take the steps, use the resources, put yourself in the accelerator program. Even if you don't think you have anything, right? The first accelerator program I did, we were just calling ourselves a nonprofit on Instagram, right? During COVID, didn't really have anything. But because we did that one, the very first one, that gave us the idea. So it's understanding the worth in your experience that you have. If you see a problem, then you have a business. But that's it. Don't think other people have to validate that immediately. Like you have it, and then take the next step. Like throw yourself into something that's going to give you doors to people that know a little bit more.
Second, that it's birthed out of your lived experience. Everything I'm doing right now is when I pitch my business, if I talk about what inspired me, I was an artist. I went to Georgia State. I dropped out. I landed in community work. I ended up in a career of mental health. I started doing art with trafficking survivors. I was starting businesses throughout that time because you don't make money as a social worker. And all of that led me to what I'm doing today. And that, you don't know subconsciously you're gravitating to the stuff that you're probably meant to be doing, whether you're overtly doing it or not. And I had someone tell me, what can you do for the least amount of money, the easiest? And I can sell stuff to people and I can make art or teach people how to make art. And I started there. And in the first event we did, I did a free paint party, invited 20 of my family friends and told everybody to bring a stranger. So it wasn't just people who were gonna yes man me all day, to just give me some feedback, and it took off.
I got a bit of a long way before I got my example. So I started my business. I was a senior in Morehouse. It was 2020, so it was literally my ultimate stuff. I wasn't getting hired. And I was working for the school, So I lost my job because of COVID. I couldn't go back to school. So I got unemployment, and if you know, unemployment at that time was good. So I went to my parents and I was like, I don't know what to do with this. And they said, well, just keep doing what you're doing. So my hustle at school was actually good people home. I'm just being honest, it's the truth. Yeah. And so, because it was like simple that people didn't. But I was like, I can just take what I'm doing and legitimize it. And so I took the money I had on the paid LLC, started hiring tools because I didn't want to do it anymore. So I was just feeling lazy, to check the watch out. So I was like, I keep the two do it. I keep the same. Took a little money, built the website, made an Instagram page, started marketing. But like the biggest, so you heard me say, I've pivoted twice since then. But like, that's the truth of how it's really started. Is that it's a very unique personal experience that I'm now putting forward to help people. And then another example, I was working in New York last summer, and I was helping venture capital team. They always had calls with entrepreneurs who were pitching, working at the NBA. People were pitching to the NBA to fund them. So possibly getting six-figure $1 million deals. And the first 5 calls we got, the team lead would always be like, yeah, our business is going on. So we just hang out. Shoot business. And I was like, I've never been see how they feel that we hurt. But then we had, and everybody that had helped on was over 40 years. So it was a recent college grad at Georgetown alum who had started a software company that he said he had worked in different internships with Microsoft and Google and had bad experiences. So he was like, he wanted to make a platform that could improve the internship experience. And they loved it. So, we took his bad internship experience as a platform to sell to agencies to better internship experience. So it's about like what you feel strongly about and where you feel like you can actually make a difference because you really can. Everybody can. That's kind of the point. Is just using your genius to help people.
What age do you?
Yeah. So the question is, before I pivoted, what was going through my mind, and I guess kind of pushed me to pivot. And then once I pivoted, I guess with a little bit of confidence to continue. I think we all laugh because never kind of fit. Like it's not something I was looking forward to doing. It's just that. So there's another true story. The first time I pivoted, I was contracting out tools, and the goal was to create a platform where parents would fit in with good Black tutors, could get quality virtual tutors at a efficient price. But then it just became wealthy parents trying to take advantage of the price. Then people who couldn't afford didn't want to pay anything. People wanted all kinds of discounts. People started asking for percentages of the company without putting up any money. And I just got really frustrated. I was like, this is good. And I took some time to just like stop and be like, what can I actually do? So then I turned and partnered with a nonprofit who gave me money up front. And then I would go to school and say, I got the tools and the money, do monthly service. And I ran into even more problems with schools, all kinds of excuses. And somebody came to me and said they could give me the upper 20,000, but they wanted 20%. I was like, dude, that's what makes money. And I went and hired tutors. I had a lawyer that I paid up front for. Yeah, and they reneged when they were supposed to send me the contract. So then I had to go back and tell everybody this is what happened. And it was more embarrassing because like, I had told all these people you're about to get paid, and then like 2 people literally understood the jobs to come do that, and then I had to tell them that they were upset too. So then that led to the next visit, I was like, this is the way to do it. And so now I'm at the stage, but it takes that confidence in yourself to know that you just gotta keep going regardless, because that's how 99% of businesses fail. These people will stop because they're angry or tired of failing. But like, that's what separated me and why I'm sitting here right now, was because I was just like, regardless of how this is going, I have to continue to do this. And so I just like mentors, apply to this program, listen, and now so. Now, third pivot was building, well, that was a part of the process. So that's like a key step in learning which direction you need to pivot. Because I could have pivoted again and that took me another wrong direction. But because I had mentors, I was able to clearly make the right steps. So, and you might hear what I talked about earlier, like they gave me a copy now to even tell myself, I got to do it even bigger than what I was planning to. Because thinking it wasn't that it was wrong, it just wasn't the most efficient way. And truth be told, the biggest way to do it is also the most efficient, which is building an app to reach as many people as possible. So that's what it is.
So I'm sure all of them have perhaps some experience, someone tell me like how did you know that now is the community?
I'm actually facing this right now. So I'm not full time. So I still work a day job and do my business. But it's in education, so they go hand in hand. But I have people at my school because I'm no longer in the classroom, I'm in leadership, and they're in my ear with like, hey, you make a lot of money just climbing up in the district. Like, screw your business. Don't do that. Like, go make that 6-figure salary, have a nice job, get a paycheck every couple weeks. And of course, I have my nonprofit that's growing on the side. And the teachers in the school are seeing it growing. Like the people in leadership are seeing it growing on the side. And I think like this comes back to outgrown people that you kind of put yourself in community with. Right now, I see my impact on YouTube, and I'm getting analytics every day across the world. My views are going up every day, and that's what's driving me to not gravitate towards getting that easy paycheck to paycheck district job because I am talented in what I do. Right, I can go into a school district and be one of those people that barely work anymore. Right, but that's not the persona I want. That's not the impact I want. I want to go big or go home. Right, I want my curriculum. I want my education tools to be available to all underrepresented kids across the country. I'm just happening to start in your school, but I promise you, your school is not my end goal. Right, and that's the confidence key that comes into it. I can be very talented, and I'm a player, right? Until this business takes off, I'm gonna climb, and I'm gonna get those paychecks. But that's not the end goal. So I guess just knowing that that's not your end goal, you know, you have bigger goals than that. That's what's gonna keep you aligned to where this is going.
I'll just add, I think that certainly all of the entrepreneurs that I've interacted with throughout my career, they will tell you if you're doing this for the money, go earn a paycheck because you could make plenty of money earning a paycheck and it's a lot less risky. So I think you do have to be. You gotta believe in it, you gotta be passionate about it, you gotta know it's also a problem for somebody, enough people that will market there. And so, be mindful that, yes, it's nice to make money, obviously, if you can do it on the side, but, think through that. There are easier ways to make money than
I'll piggyback off of that real quick. And to play devil's advocate, I agree with them that. So when I graduated college, I turned down a $140,000 job to do what I'm doing now full time. That was 2 years ago. I was very fortunate and privileged that the ideas, the prototype that we had at the time, it a non-dilutive grant from the Epilepsy Foundation to give me like, not anywhere like close to being able to live that kind of lifestyle, but like live like a college student for another year and give me a runway and see where we can go, right? And I think it's wise to have some sort of runway or something going before you jump all in, because I remember when I first started like going all in after college, I was very mesmerized by the idea of entrepreneurship for that, not only for that reason, but you would hear these big numbers or you see these big rounds being raised on LinkedIn and like people are crazy numbers, right? That stuff is like a lot of times a facade. Like companies will be raising a lot of money, but they'll be losing money. Some you'll see a big exit, but the founder only got X amount of dollars. Now they got for 7 years. So the expected value of getting a job oftentimes is a lot higher in terms of the amount of money you make. So I think that's really important for people to know before they get mesmerized by the shiny, I'm gonna make a lot of money really fast kind of thing. Most tech exits, at least in tech companies, don't happen for 7 to 10 years. Like that's the average amount of time it takes before an exit happens. So I think you do have to really enjoy the process. And I think if you're debating whether to go full time on an idea or not, see if it has legs first. Like try to make some sales initially, try to get a grant, give you some runway, get some things going first, and then when the time is right, it'll feel natural to make that step, I think.
As an artist, I get pitched every other day with, you know what you should do? Since you're an artist, you should do this, you should do that. And a lot of that is distracting and it's noise. And I think one of the biggest things I did was create a roadmap. And it's not a roadmap that has to come to fruition in like the next 12 to 24 months. It's a long game. It's, you know, MK asked me once, do you want a lifestyle business? You want to make a few $1 billion a year, buy a nice car, go on a few vacations? Are you trying to do something bigger and more disruptive? I want to buy a rocket, right? So I'm in this for a much bigger play, longer game. So because of that, it's easier for me to tell people that's cute, thanks for the idea, but no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not interested in that. And then sometimes if people are around you and they're telling you like, you know, that's cool, but you should do this, that should also indicate this person doesn't have that vision and that side of what you're doing. You probably should be listening to them. Unless it's like your mentors and stuff.
I get the same stuff. People always hit me, should hire me for marketing. Can we do this? So I just got to tweet out. Hard part for me is when I have friends come to me and say, can we do something together? And then I'll even give them opportunity, like, well, write a plan, maybe make a deck and come give it to me. And then 2 weeks later, and then they're upset. But I have to be honest with the front line. This is what I do. I take $1,000. So if like you're not on that wavelength, then they got you. And my roommate, he works for JP Morgan. He makes way over $100K. And he came to me literally 2 weeks ago and said he would let me just because I got my freedom, my time, and I'm for a purpose. And I have that. Last thing, John said, he said people come to him all the time because people are coming to him about $1 million ideas. He said it takes him the same amount of time to make $100 million to make $1 million. So why would he listen to anybody else coming to him? I can't speak on that, but the principle that you gotta, you know, when you're doing it, you only gotta take time to realize what you're doing, what you're doing, and to your own piece of it. Like, don't just try to encourage people to do something because you know, so you think that might be able to help you. It needs to be like a tangible business plan with the outside. And work, you know, honing in the skills you got to. Because like some stuff I'm good at, sales, public speaking, some marketing, business planning. I try to make sure that's not that. I don't come up short. double HR, things like that. So I gotta try to find people.
You got time for probably like one question, and then I will wrap up.
I'm gonna start with that because, yeah, oh, sorry. How do we go about finding mentors besides the mentorship program? So I first thought I just had my parents, and they only know so much they don't know anything in tech. My mom is an entrepreneur, so my dad was a fellow brother. They don't know anything about tech or equity or entrepreneurship in the way out there. So I went to the first person that I could find that I thought would help me because I was young and hungry and wanted to get started. But that was a mistake because that person, the first person, was angry, rude, and that's how I got into the first pivot where I had to use bad deal. And then I went and did it again, thinking this person has to be better than the last person. So I wasted time trying to get mentors that didn't help me. So it has to be a genuine relationship. You can just reach out to people and ask, but like you gotta just ask everybody you know. You know somebody that does this, what can help with this? Where can I get feedback for this? And it doesn't always have to be about even like expanding your business. It might just be, can you get advice on where you are? Or can I get you to look at my deck? Can I get you to proofread my business plan? It can be something as simple as that. And I built a lot of relationships because people were like, let me know when you're on to your next one. So I can look at that too. And then it just builds and it becomes people I can trust versus just trying to get up people because I need help at the moment. It has to be a genuine relationship because people really try to take it.
Sure. All right. So I think, like you said, I think it's important to get the right mentors, and like mentors are fantastic. I mean, at some point you have to do the work, and no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to make money for you except for you. So like know that ahead of time. But mentors can definitely point you in the right direction. So with that being said, my question to you is, are you a student? Okay, so two things. You have a superpower right now when you're a student, and you're young. People want to help you. You just have to ask. Like that's really the reality of it, especially if you say, I'm a student and I want to learn. You will be surprised how many people will give you 15 minutes of their time. Just ask for 15, 20 minutes, they'll give you half an hour now. And another thing, successful people, like here's a secret, they really like to talk about themselves. So if you like make them feel good about themselves and you're like, I would love to learn from you about XYZ, I look up to you in this type of way, a lot of them will say yes. They can be surprised. So just ask whether it's through LinkedIn or handwritten card or going and finding somebody and just asking. You'd be surprised how many people are willing to like give you some time.
Can I jump in? Yes, please.
Pro tip. If you want 15 minutes of someone's time, offer to volunteer an hour. Hey, I'd love to volunteer an hour of my time. I can go pick up your laundry. I can clean out your email box. I'll go pick up something, bring you lunch. Offer to do something for someone. When there's something in your hand, when you put your hands out, you'll be surprised how much more someone will say yes. If you don't have an hour, offer 30 minutes of your time. If you make a deposit into someone, they'll be more willing to give you some of their time.
And just to add to my point, like we were saying as well, you of course like they're doing you a big favor with your time, but you're also doing them a favor to some degree. So don't like think of yourself as like, because you're giving them the opportunity to share, and that is a big like people feel really good about themselves after they exited a bunch of companies and they're like giving back. Like they want to do that. So you're giving them something too. You're giving them an opportunity that you maybe in the future they'll invest in you as well and make a lot of money. So just you're giving them an opportunity too. Just keep that in the back of your mind as well.
I just want to second the you're a student piece. You really do, you've got a lot of, resources at your disposal. I've been gone for a few months and so I may be speaking a little bit out of turn, but Ms. Gracie here and Ms. Reed in the back, she's raising her hand, that they will, you still have office hours or, coaching hours. So you can sign up for those. And I mean, part of it's just starting to talk to people about your ideas. Because even if they can't help you directly, they probably know somebody who can help you. You also have professors, and whether it's a professor of finance or a professor of anything outside of entrepreneurship, you find a way to have a conversation with them. So figure out, go to office hours. And again, even if they can't help you, they will point you back to UCB. It's somebody on your team that can work with the student. And people are willing to help, particularly if you're young as a student.
Yeah, I mean, just shoot your shot, right? You got to be okay with like shooting your shot and being rejected, or shooting your shot, getting an interview, and that leading to 2 more interviews, that then lead to 3 more interviews, that then might lead to something, right? That's how I think I got a lot of mentors actually through my customer discovery, and that email had to be like tailored to like literally shouting them out as the greatest person ever, and then offering to pick their brain for 15 minutes because they're such an expert in what they do. And then seeing where that call goes, and then as Nigel said, it will be authentic if it is meant to be authentic, and being okay with it not being authentic and moving on, right? Shoot your shot.
Go for it, and then we'll let him get wrapped up.
So that's good for 2 years, trying to, like, how. But I was very dedicated. So I kept researching. As soon as I got into school, I had a GCU. I was like, I'm gonna shoot my shot at GCU down the same institution. So I started applying. People just really like what we do. So definitely reach out and to the point where all that research I did led to very good 45 minutes. That's it's so well researched. You want to connect with this.
I think that's important, right? Like, when I sent out a bunch of emails, no one was responding. So then, me working in schools, I had administrators and principals that even if I just threw their name in there to someone that they knew, then that's when the actual meeting happened, right? Like, as a principal, Stamper said, like, you were one of the best in the game. That's when I started getting the, like, okay, we can meet because now you're a valued person in this community because this guy's really to you. Of course, you check with them when you name drop them, but that's definitely, you have so many mentors in your network already, especially being at Georgia State. I got my master's from Georgia State. My idea started because I started my master's at Georgia State when I got on the pedagogy about teaching. My fellowship mentor, Dr. King, is a huge professor at Georgia State who now connects me with teachers across the country to pilot my stuff, right? You might not think you have a lot of mentors, and they might not even know you want to be mentored by them, right? Just reach out to people that you already have in your circle, and you'd be like you'd be so shocked at how much they want to help you.
And on top of that, follow up again after that too. You can't just, if you talk to somebody, just leave it at that. So, even if it's just as simple as when they post on LinkedIn, or reach out and tell them happy holidays. It could be millions of things just to do something simple to let them know that you're thinking about it. And with that too, you got to go crazy with the email that you send them. When I send an email out to somebody that's an ed tech, I'll be like, thank you for all you do in ed tech. It's an honor to get to learn from you. You set up some time. I'd love to listen and ask you some questions. You gotta be strategic with everything you do down there, like something.
I want to add one last thing, if you don't mind. I think this is important. There's a book, I would highly recommend this book in general. It's called The Defining Decade. Essentially, he knows about it. The thesis of the book is why your 20s matter like the most out of all the decades of your life. And it's a little bit cheesy book, but it's a really good book. It just gets you thinking. But one of the parts in there that they talk about is like the study they read. It's like a Stanford psychologist who wrote this book. And they said that the 20-year-olds who made the most advancements in not just their professional life, but their personal life, utilize something called weak ties. So weak ties are like, you think the people that are going to be able to help you the most are the people you already know, but that's not true. It's the people that you know and who they know and who they might know. Like the biggest swings that happen in life, like maybe you get some sort of investment or you get like land a big client. It's usually like you talk to somebody who introduced you to somebody who pointed you in the right, and then that is how you get ahead. Or even like people, how do they meet their like spouses or their partners in the future, right? There's usually like, oh, like I had a friend who told me like about this other person, and then we like hung out, and then blah blah blah, you know. So like, think beyond your current circle, and don't be scared to step out there, because that's where like the growth is made. Like weak ties. Read that book.
And when people reach out to y'all, make sure y'all do something. That can help with this.
Those are excellent nuggets. I can't talk. That's great. So I do want to close it up, like wrap it up here with one final question. With setting some baseline, right? The Main Street program, when we started it, when Jennifer started it, and then brought him on board. I came from a quick background. I'm a Georgia citizen, so I went to state, graduated back in 2000, and I attribute all of my success to Georgia State. The teachers, professors. I had a professor, Brett Mathen, who went to the business class with. He actually led me on to say give startups. I credit people I credit. People I credit to my teachers and professors here. Really gave me a chance to be a part of the state. So I pretty lucky that. And so Jennifer brought me in, started Main Street together. And, of course, they already had fun and everything. One main piece of Main Street was diversity. And diversity, not just in terms of demographics, race, color, but diversity by business. We want to set all kinds of things. Technology, non-technology. It doesn't matter. That name right there, self. They were one of the first cohort. They were not activities. They had nothing to involve in the sort of school. But now self is actually attention to attitude. So what I'm going with that is that the great equalizer in everything is technology. At the end of the day, everyone will touch technology in some way. Even if you're a coffee shop, even if you're a serious school, it doesn't matter. You can touch it. Now another equalizer is coming, in the horizon. That is AI. So it'll touch all of us. It's touching all of us in some way. So I want to go back to these amazing founders. I want to ask them about their future, about where your future is in your business, and how do you see these equalizers that I just talked about, like technology and AI, touching AI. And just share with everybody what's the future, what's in your future, in your business.
So, also when I first started, I had a kind of like a curriculum I was giving out. I was teaching classes on crypto, sustainable energy, digital sports, and stock market. And I just felt like that was important to me, but it was more important to educate people on industries that were shaping the century that we are going to be a part of and can lead. So that was before I knew anything about AI. And now it's obviously growing really fast. There's a lot of software companies that are doing ChatGPT, OpenAI is huge. But it's important to understand what is happening from you so that you can take advantage and also implement that back into your daily life and your own business ideas as well. Because it is coming regardless. Like I just heard some people complaining about it and how kids won't be able to read at all anymore because they're going to use ChatGPT. And I was like, well, quite literally, my business is will use AI and it's going to help people. So like, it's all about the mindset when you look at it, but also not being fearful of it and understanding that the world is changing. So the main kind of critique I hear about it is that it's taking away so many jobs. But people aren't talking about the millions of jobs that it will also create. And how can you, like I said, be a part of that, take advantage, and be an industry leader. That's why we're all sitting up here, because we're trying to be industry leaders. So, yeah, just like I said, I'll be using it to collect data on student performance. I'm sure that in the near future, I'll be using it for something else as well. And sometimes I'll go on ChatGPT and ask, how should I type this email to this person? Just because I'm in the brain block. So it's very, very useful.
Yeah, I think I think I've learned quickly, like doing this for 2 years now full time. Every single time I think I know what our future is going to be, I'm wrong. Like we have a general direction, we have a plan of where we want to go, but every 6 months, obviously something changes, whether it's small or not. But I think we want to continue doing a lot more of what we've already been doing, because we have some pretty good growth recently since the beginning of 2024, but do it more faster, more intentionality, put proper resources behind it. With regards to AI specifically, though, I mean, like at least in the health tech area, like everybody and their mother has an AI thing, right, in their startup. So like you kind of almost have to have it, right? Like you're not an AI. But I think what's really interesting, I heard Michael Seibel from like YC say this, is like if there's a gold rush and everyone's digging for gold, you want to be the one selling shovels, right? So I think AI is just like, and I don't know exactly what that means, but I really like the idea of it. Like one example of it is like recently, I don't know if you guys all know about NVIDIA and the NVIDIA stock, right? So they're the shovel. Like, right, this is huge gold rush and everyone's running towards this thing called AI. They build the shovels that everyone uses to get to AI, and that's why their stock like exploded. And I think so like when there's a big wave like this, like before I think in 2010 or something, it was mobile apps as well. And like everyone wanted a mobile app, this thing that was in our pockets. But you kind of like want to look for, there's this huge wave coming, but there's gonna be like these subwaves, right? Whether it's GPUs or with AI, it might be data, like Nigel and his company, like if they have a unique data set that is, for I don't know, certain students and certain data that no one else has, that's super, super valuable, right? For someone to use their AI. So I think for our company specifically, it may be small implementations of AI within our product, whether that's some sort of like, chatbot or data trends kind of visualization stuff. But I think a lot of it is going to be trying to collect high quality data that is super unique so that other people
So for me, I use AI a lot for a lot of the tasks that I'm trying to alleviate off of me. So I'm a nonprofit. So I started using my AI, like ChatGPT, to refine my grants. Of course, I still write them, but they just make it to where like you get to a point, still has your personal aspects, and it's cutting down like 3-4 hours of grant writing requirements. That's huge for me because that's how I get my money. I do have revenue with grants. We've secured over 100K grants, all non-restricted, all I can spend however I want. And so like I need something that can help me write grants. Another way I use it is social media, because I hate social media. I hate the ratios. I hate the captions. I hate word counts limits. All of that stuff. Like no, So I was gonna start writing grants for money for social media, but someone was like, just use ChatGPT. They give you the emojis, they give you the hashtags. They said you can say Instagram, make it for Twitter, like it does all of that. That alleviates another 1 to 2 hours of time that I don't want to spend making posts. And then as well as like curriculum. So like I make lab reports and worksheets. ChatGPT helps me get to the point with any introductions I have to write, any paragraphs I have to write, any instructions. I can write, how can I make this most clear to the lowest level student? And it gives me instructions, precise directions that I would otherwise make too complicated. So that's the way that I infuse it right now. In the future, we're going to be a digital platform. I'm sure we're going to have made more complicated aspects of AI, but lifelong learner here, so when that time comes, I'll figure it out. But for right now, the curriculum we write, no bot can create. The experiences that we have in the classroom, no bot can have. So I'm having full faith that even if AI comes in and does a lot of the jobs that it is taking away, the curriculum and the content and the experience, lived experiences, still won't be able to be taken over.
Our company is in the middle of a pivot right now. My number one goal is to scale. And so we've traditionally been operating out of one brick and mortar, but now we have the opportunity to open satellite locations in other cities. And the satellite option works because it reduces overhead. But in having satellite, we're also building an online platform so that people can learn virtually with us, and it expands the number of people we can reach at a time in the places where we can have a presence without us physically being there. And then we're also down the road incorporating some VR into our services. And then with AI, we've been talking about that lately and using AI to help us think more scientifically in how we iterate and add new features to our platform and the service we're offering. So allowing it to help us make better predictions about what our customers and users are responding to, what they need. And then also using AI to interpret what we're finding out from them so that we can help build better internally, but also now we have things we can suggest to our customers who are purchasing our services for other people. That's what I got figured out so far, and looking forward to learning. Oh, we also want to accept crypto as a form of payment too.
Also, doing research is important. That just made me think of something. The AI, I don't want to call it a wave because it's more substantial, but NFTs like 2 years ago had a similar effect on how people went through things. Everybody went through their crypto NFTs in their business, and they got burned really bad. So you can't just implement AI to everybody else's. It has to be strategic, and you got to know what exactly, because there's different forms of the different languages. So you got to, otherwise it's going to be a waste of time, huge waste of money. So it's like I understand what you're doing into also, and understand the details of AI is talking about.
Okay, we could clearly talk for a while, but we're gonna wrap it up. So please join me in giving our panelists a big